Hi, wrestling coach Joe Norton is with me today to answer more questions. Thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
You have been a head coach for both men's and women's wrestling programs. Are there differences in how you coach depending on the team?
Man, there are differences. One thing we always try and do with the women is coach them like they're wrestlers, not coach them like they're women's wrestlers. They don't want us to coach them differently than we coach the men in terms of the skills that we teach or the discipline that we demand. But I think a lot of times the ways that I coach them is a lot different. The women seem to care much more that the coach cares about them. I think the men care a little bit more what the coach knows, how much the coach knows about the sport. If there's a girl that I'm coaching that knows that we actually care a lot about her and her development, she'll listen to what I'm telling her whether she thinks it's right or not. The men, they have to believe that you know what you're talking about, which is good with our staff because I have a great staff of coaches that do care a lot about the athletes and do know a lot of things. I think that's why we can be successful coaching both of them. But that's probably the biggest difference, I would say, in terms of the way we manage our relationships with them.
That's really amazing. What do you think is the most important part of your coaching philosophy?
The most important part of our coaching philosophy, I think, is love. We love the athletes and we want what's best for them more so than just winning and losing. I think when you go to college, the reason you go to college, right, is to get the degree. Well, in the course of getting the degree, you're learning how to be successful in life, right, in that field, but also, at taking direction maybe when you're a little bit younger, giving direction when you're a little bit older, learning to work with people, have different backgrounds or diverse philosophies or ways of thinking. And I think wrestling just does that at an accelerated rate. We have 48 women on our women's team. They're from 24 different states. They have different backgrounds, different beliefs, and they learn to work well with each other, take direction when they're younger, give direction when they're older. And I think that we love that process for them, the development that happens in here. Obviously, we love when they win. We want them to win. But I think the foundation of our philosophy is loving them and wanting them to develop and learn the skills that they're going to need, obviously to help them win wrestling matches, but to go and be successful in their career and in their life as, a husband, a wife, a mother, a father, all those things.
That's really great. You have wrestled at North Central College yourself, contributing to 3 championship wins. How does it influence the way you coach?
How do our championship wins when I was on the team influence the way I coach? Well, I think back to the things that we did well in the years that we won and the things that we didn't do well in the year that we lost. So I can draw on those experiences a lot. I know what the makeup of the team was when we were winning and what the makeup of the team was when we weren't. The things the coaches were doing when we won, the things the coaches were doing when we lost or weren't doing. So it's all just experience, right? And I think that's what helped me to be good as a head coach was I experienced a lot as an assistant coach first, that I kind of got my screw-ups and my errors out of the way as an assistant coach that I didn't make as many when I was a head coach. But I think that one of the biggest things was that we had a very close-knit group of guys in the years that we won. Like they cared about each other and each other winning more so than just them winning. In an individual sport like wrestling, that's really important. When I feel like I'm wrestling for my teammates as opposed to just wrestling for myself, it can bring another level out of me. And I feel like those teams that we had back then that I was on that did that were the really successful teams. So we try and convince our guys and our girls now to be that way.
That's really great. You have won numerous awards as a coach. Is there one that stands out as particularly special?
I've won numerous awards as a coach. Is there one that's special? We love the National Coach of the Year award at the national tournament because I think what it shows is they tend to usually vote on that and give it to a coach whose team maybe outperformed what they were expected to. And we've won that award a few times, the coaching staff of the tournament. And I think that's really good because it shows that we had our women, our wrestlers ready to go on that day, which is really, really important to them. And that's what they spend their entire year, 363 days preparing for those two every year. And so I think that award shows that we did our job for them to get them to there. The awards that I win are cool, but They really just show that we're doing the right things for the girls, and that's really what we want to do, the girls and the guys. So if we're winning those, it usually means that the kids on the team are winning, and that's really what we want.
That's really awesome. What has been your proudest moment as a coach?
My proudest moment as a coach probably came just a few weeks ago when our women's team beat the University of Iowa in a dual meet, because we're a Division III school, right? And they're a Division I Power 4 school in the Big Ten, and they have a $31 million wrestling facility, and they have full ride scholarships and 3 full-time coaches for their women's team, and a lot of things, NIL, gear sponsorships, budgets and things that our team doesn't have. And we've always been preaching to our team that we could go and compete with them despite maybe some of those advantages that they have. And we'd been close, but not quite gotten over the hump and beaten them yet. So us actually doing that in a team setting too, in a dual meet setting, like us versus them head to head, was really, really cool, because it kind of reinforced what we've been telling our women, that there's always going to be things in life that you may see as hurdles, like advantages that somebody else has that you don't, whether it's wrestling or a job that you want to get or a person that you want to date or whatever it is, a home that you want to buy or a car that you want to buy. Just doing the best you can with what you got and still striving to get to the same ending that they have to get to, maybe minus the hurdles, and still doing it anyway, I think is really, really cool.
That's awesome. It's been amazing talking to you. Thank you so much, Coach.
Cool. Thanks, Lily. Appreciate it.